Ain't even like that. Just trying to match my swag. 'Cause I'm so cold. Ain't even like that. Just trying to match my swag. 'Cause I'm so cold.
So greetings, this is Priestess Monjasola, and welcome to the Ancestor Altar class, okay? So this class is all about teaching you guys about how to venerate your ancestors, the differences between venerating your ancestors and deities, and also the difference between what type of ancestors you have, and just a basic setup of how to set up your ancestor due to the diaspora, the African diaspora, and how our ancestors used to set up the altars, okay? So honoring and worshiping our ancestors is a practice all around the world. Many ATRs have a foundation in the belief that one's ancestors play an active role in the life and the living after death. Many of us invite them so they can have influences on our family. They provide blessings and protection. The intimate relationship between the living and the dead is a complex exercise of remembrance, respect, and reconciliation. Maintaining a connection with our dead ancestors is not really a foreign concept to many of the African people, but it's a foreign concept to a lot of Americans because Christianity here is our culture. America was founded on Christianity. And Christianity teaches that death is a definite ending, and many approach the subject as, it being an end all, and they have fear of death itself. Now, for some leaving Christianity, we must leave the ingrained fear and establish a new understanding of life and death. Life and death is an interconnected journey from the soul when the sun sets on our lives here as a living and it rises in the spiritual plane and where our souls continue to live in different types of dimensions. Now, there's power that resides in our spiritual practice that comes directly from the strength, the wisdom, and from those who came before us. Establishing a relationship with our ancestors is very vital. It's vital to our success in our workings, our charms, our tricks, our candle work as well, and that we use in our tradition. Now, without the assistance of our ancestors with these workings, trying to perform them by ourselves and without their energy or blessing is like going in blind, okay? All we're doing is wasting our time and our energy. Now, our ancestors, don't just have magical power with workings, they also guide our steps, okay? So we could avoid negative situations and recover from the mistakes in our lives or in our workings quickly, okay? Now, in Yoruba or Ifa, we call the elevated ancestors the Agungun, okay? The Agungun is your ancestors' ancestors, okay? These are the ancestors that we truly want to venerate. These are your ancient ancestors. Now, they reside in the most higher dimensions, okay? Some of them even close to God, okay? They could foresee certain things in our future that we can't help to see, okay? That prevent us from a lot of suffering and calamity when we prevent them properly. Now, you have your Igun, and then you have your ancestors, which are your dearly departed, which we call Igun, okay? So Igun in Yoruba means bone, all right? So you have your Gungun, your elevated ancestors, your ancestors' ancestors. Then you have your dearly departed / Igun, okay? So your ancestors are very different from dearly departed because, these are the ancestors that you've known in this lifetime. These are the ancestors that you've heard your family members talked about, okay? And you may have special relationships with these ancestors. Your Gungun, you probably won't really hear too much about them unless it's like years down the line, say like your papa was a captain or a soldier in like one of the wars or something like that decades ago. Like that will definitely be some type of a goon, okay? Now in the spirit world, these ancestors are almost like babies. You're a goon, you're dearly departed. They're still developing spiritually. And what we have to do is have them be venerated by us so that when they incarnate, they could have time to finish their soul's purpose, okay? So some of these ancestors, they lack the ashe or the power to really help us. They really need our help, instead. Now, most of your gungun, like I said, they need to be elevated in higher realms of consciousness. So with that, you could do like certain elevation spells or elevation type rituals to elevate them to the higher levels or dimensions that they need to reside in, okay? Now, it's necessary that you continuously interact with your Agun and your Agungun. We call on them daily to bless our daily lives, our marriages, bless our children, our families, and our homes, and also our spiritual work. But as we ask for these things, we have to make sure that we do make offerings as well. We can't just always ask for my ancestors know that could come through for us for these workings and stuff like that. We have to make sure that we're venerating them well. Okay. So the type of things we could venerate is, what we eat, they eat, what we drink, they drink. They want the same thing as us, okay? Especially your Agun. They basically live through us. All right. So in some cultures in ATR, it's customary to offer them the first serving. All right. So if you have your ancestor altar, you make them a plate first and you put it on the altar, okay, before anyone else is served. All right. Some people also make offerings without an altar, and they just make that plate first and set it on the side for the table. Okay. A home cooked meal is always good to offer them. You could give them fruits, candy, tobacco, and pastries as well. You're going to find that offering fruit will tend to last longer if the portal on your altar is truly strong. From experience, I've had like fruit on there for like 6-7 months and it still looks the same. All right, because it's a continuously working altar. Now, the ashe of the fruit is much more powerful when it's uncut. So when you do give them fruit, you want to make sure the fruit stays whole. All right. Now, when you give them tobacco, you want to make sure that you light it and blow some smoke on your altar. Okay. It's almost like they're going to be smoking through you, but that smoke is just, they smell, they feel the aroma. Like you just put it on fire, that ether is just a connection instead of just putting the tobacco on there. Now, in my opinion and my experience, the ancestors, they love breakfast. Okay. So you want to make sure that you're giving them black coffee. You want to make it real sweet. You could give them bacon, make it spicy, and then put honey on it. Also make them eggs. Okay. Now, the more that you work with your ancestors, the more they're going to reveal to you what they want. Okay. Some of them even want jewelry and even perfumes. I remember one time I was walking downstairs and I went to mommy's room and she was saying, "Why are you in the kitchen cooking, making loud noise with the pots?" And I'm like, "I'm not making any noise." She was like, "Yes, you are. I smell eggs." And I'm just like, "What's that?" So I'm going back upstairs and I hear, "We want breakfast." So automatically they was like, "We want breakfast." I was like, dang, so that's what they wanted. So I was like, "Who's in here?" And I heard, "We are." And I just imagine like all the women in my bloodline was there, like all my grandmas, aunties. It was just the women in there. But for some reason, they wanted me to cook breakfast. So I had to do that before I could even go upstairs because that's where my altar is. So they say something, listen, because there's a reason why they ask for something, not because they could be appeased, but because they foresee something and they need that power and that energy exchange so they could go ahead and handle that for you. Okay. Now, drink is also always important for them to have. You could put water, wine, coffee, like I said earlier, and liquor. All right. Now, when you offer your agungun or in your agun drink, you want to make sure you drink it first. So you say, "I drink with you," and then you pour it out. Okay. After you do that, you could leave different types of shot glasses or glasses, however you want, because some ancestors want different things. Your gungun is always going to receive gin, always gin, okay, because that's your elevated ancestors. But Papa may have like whiskey, so you may pour a glass of whiskey or something like that. Okay, you're going to know, you're going to trust your intuition on that. Okay. So the same thing, you taste it, you give it to them, pour it over, you taste with them, you know, even if you drink with them, it's almost like they're drinking through you as well, okay? Because remember, you are your ancestors, all right? Now, to pick your ancestor altar, you want to pick an area where there's no traffic or less traffic, okay? You don't want anyone to disturb your altar. Never have an altar in your bedroom, all right? Due to, sexual activities. And two, your ancestors could mess with you at night, especially your agoon, like the kids agoon, the baby agoons, they love to play at night. And they'll poke on you, mess with you, jump on you while you're trying to sleep. And you don't want none of that. Okay. So you could pick any size of table, but the table should be made out of something that's natural, like wood or glass. All right. So once you find your space, go ahead and clean it with Florida water. Okay, you can sage it however you want to. Okay. Now you could add a cloth to it if you'd like. It could be white, but it shouldn't be any like dark colors. It should be all like light colors. You can even use colors that's associated with your chakras. Okay. You want to have the highest vibration of light, on your altar there. So anything black, like, you don't want that. Now, unless you do left hand work, you could have a black altar for that, but that's not what this class is about. Okay. So after you find your table, you cleanse it, you add your specific cloth on there, you can place a Bible on your altar. Okay. Now, people are going to shun away about, oh, why we're going to put a Bible on there. Okay. That's still a part of our ancestors. That's still part of our history. Okay. The Bible is not really all about Christianity. The Bible is taken from 3 books. And also the Bible really is an astrology book. Okay. The book of Psalms alone is a book full of spells. All right. And a lot of times, Mama has a Bible that she has passed down that has a lot of ashe on it. Okay. She was a praying mama. So that book is powerful to have on your altar, and it's a piece of her that you could put on there. Okay. So you could do that. Also put a book of Psalms on there if you want to. Okay. After you add your Bible or your book of Psalms, you want to add a glass of water. Okay. Add that, pour that there. Now, some traditions in ATR, we put 9 glasses of water. Okay. 9 being the number of your agungun. Okay. It represents the agungun. But usually that's for like initiated and advanced practitioners. Okay. If you have a big enough altar to put 9 to represent your gungun, you could go ahead and do that. But 1 glass will suffice. Okay. Especially if you're working with a limited space. All right. Now, you could add pictures of your goon on there if you want to, but it's not really necessary. You can still conjure up the energy with your dedicated interaction at your altar, okay? Plus, if you're working with a small table, it really could take up the space. So if you like, you could always put the pictures like on the wall, right above your altar, on the side, of the wall, back next to your altar, okay? That'll still work. Or you could also add personal items like rings, pipes, perfumes, jewelry. Just trust your intuition. If you have a connection with them, they'll tell you exactly what they want on there. Okay. So you could also then add your 4 elements. You could add crystals, your earth elements, flowers, plants. You could add dirt, graveyard dirt if you want to. Okay. You could add dirt from, whatever garden that they used to have, they used to work in. Whatever you feel led to that's an earthy type energy, you can add that to your altar. Okay. If it's like crystals, stuff like that, you want to make sure that you're cleansing the energy off of that first. You could have an additional bowl of water if you want to, especially for those of you who know how to scry. Okay. Those of you who know how to look into water and scry and divine, that's definitely good to have that on your altar. Okay. You could add incense for your air sign, for your air elements, a feather, which represents Kemet, the goddess Ma'at, for truth, balance, and harmony. Okay. Now for protection, for fire, candles, of course. Now for protection, you could add a knife if you want to. It could be some type of small machete. It'd be real nice if it's like an ancestor knife. But you could add a knife for protection to use when you feel you need extra protection, okay? Some people do use archangels. So if you want to, you could use Archangel Michael if you want to. He's known as a protector, or you could also use Archangel Gabriel, okay? If you know of any other deities like the Orishas, I would advise not to put those type of deities on your ancestor altar, okay? Because they need kind of like their own space. All right. Okay. Now to activate your altar, you're gonna want to cook for them. So this will be like after you set everything up, all these things up, okay? Now to activate it, you're gonna wanna cook for them for their first offering, okay? You're gonna offer them OT, which means strong drink or liquor. and you're going to sit at your altar and pray and speak to them. Okay. You could also play a song, and you also could sing with them if you like, if you can sing, if they like your voice. Okay. You could also bring ancestor money there. Okay. Asking them that their spiritual karma be paid through the burning of this money. Okay. Now, when you use your ancestor altar, what you want to do is hold it in your left hand, burn it with your right, and place it in a bin, like a metal bin, and burn it. And you want to watch the fire go all the way out. You want to watch the whole thing go out. Okay. Now, it's a must that you do venerate your egungun and your egun at least once a week. Okay. You also want to keep your altar clean. Okay. Don't have it be dirty. Don't have anything moldy on there. Don't have it be dusty on there. That's very, very disrespectful. Okay. If you feel the need that you want to venerate them every day, that's fine. That's your choice. But once a week is fine. Okay. Just follow your intuition. Now, you want to make sure that when you're venerating them, that you ask the ancestors who vibrate at the highest level of love and compassion. That's very important, because unfortunately, we have ancestors who are lower level spirits, and they could come to eat up and drink up and become a menace and make issues in your home. Okay, so this is important to test the spirits this way. Okay, not every uncle or auntie was vibrating high. Okay, so you call on all ancestors, all ancestors, those known and unknown. They'll come up there, eat up. You're giving them ashe and power, but all they're gonna do is just come and run amok in your house, and you don't know that. And then you have another problem on your hands that you have to get rid of. Okay. So we have to set our intentions purely asking that we have the ancestors of those who vibrate at the highest level of love and compassion, that those ancestors are welcome. All right. Now you're gonna know the type of energy you have in your house, the type of energy you invited in just by your everyday interaction in the house or with your ancestors at the altar. Okay, you'll be able to tell. All right. Now, does anybody have any questions before I go on? You can't unmute yourself. No? Yes.
When you said venerate them every day, do you mean like light a candle every day?
Oh, you don't have to light a candle every day. You can keep a candle lit on there because it's almost like they know where to come. It's like a beacon. What I do is I light a tea candle when I do work with them, and then when it goes out, it goes out. But what I mean by venerating every day is like, say you cook every day, right? You can make them a saucer plate of food every day. Then in the morning, you could throw it away. Or like you already got some fruit on there, or like a cupcake on there. You got some nuts that you're eating because you're watching TV. You could just go and drop a couple of those on there like that and say like a quick prayer, thank you, stuff like that. However you feel led.
Okay.
Okay. But once a week is a must. Anybody else?
You mentioned graveyard dirt.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a process that one must follow or should follow when collecting that dirt?
Okay. I guess I'll go ahead and give you some.
That's
Okay. I'm gonna give y'all a little gem right here. Okay. So when you guys go to the graveyard, what you're gonna do is give Oya an offering before you walk into the graveyard. Okay. Now you could give her 9 pennies because the number is 9 as well. Okay. And then you could give her like one of those small, like little liquors, you know, the little shot glasses. You could give her one of those as well. Okay. I don't know if they have little small wine ones. You could give her some wine, but make sure it's red wine. Okay. You bless her with that. You ask her if you could come in. Okay. Ask for permission to go in. Try to use your intuition before you go in there. If you don't have no strong intuition, you shouldn't be doing this anyway. Okay. Feel like you got your permission, put it right there at the gate, go in. Okay. Take your ancestor dirt, thank them. I will give them an offering there as well. I will give my ancestors offering there as well, since I'm taking from them. And then from there, you could go ahead, thank them, bless them, and then leave. Okay. Don't just go up in there taking and not giving them anything. All right. So that's a little gem right there if you want to get some ancestor dirt. Okay. All right. Anybody else have a question before I go on?
Yeah, I had a quick question.
Mhm.
I understand the process when you say venerate ancestors. So you do that once a week. Does that include the once a week when you do the cigar and the rum with them?
Yeah. However you want to venerate them, that's on you. Like all of a sudden, like right now, how you smoking a cigarette, you'll probably hear somebody said, "I want one too," but you already gave them some yesterday. But it's like, let me go ahead and give this to them, you know, or like you just feel the urge or whatever. So it's like that as whatever you want. But as far as like processed stuff, you don't want to give them that. You want to give them everything natural. Okay, tobacco's natural. You give them liquor, you give them fruit, you know, you give them a home cooked meal because that's made with your hands and made with love. But they're not gonna want no hot pocket. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Okay. Anybody else?
One more clarification, really. So I have learned, and I want to know what your take is on seasonings on your food, because I have learned in different ways, and I want to kind of know what your teaching and your practice is.
Now, I saw you guys in there earlier talking about how you guys don't add salt. I don't think there's nothing wrong with salt. What does salt represent? It represents protection. Okay, so why would you not add salt? Okay, salt adds flavor. Salt brings things out. Even when you're working with chocolate, it makes the chocolate more tastier. It brings the taste out of the chocolate. Okay, one thing that your gungun does like, the ancestor does like, is that spice. They love spicy. So like I said earlier, when you could cook them some breakfast, the way I do my bacon, I cook it, I put pepper, cayenne on that thing. I just go heavy. And then I put that honey on there to make it sweet as well. Okay. So they like those heavy flavors. That's what they like. Okay. Anybody else?
Can you explain who you can venerate? For example, I won't name the name, but I have a ancestor that I'm very fond of. She was a phenomenal woman and did a lot of, well, I'll say it, is Harriet Tubman. I'll say it. I feel like sometimes she might be tired, that a lot of people call on her. Do they ever get tired of people asking for their help? And explain how us venerating someone of that stature, how would it benefit them in the realms they're in?
Okay. Now, Harriet Tubman is her energy, her spirit is very, very powerful. Okay, so venerating her will do nothing but just give her more ashe, right? So that's what we call our ancestors of our ancestors. Okay. What I forgot to say earlier is the Agungun, yes, is our ancestors of our ancestors, but together the Agungun is an Orisha. All right. When you go all the way back in time, you'll start to realize that we all share the same ancestors. Okay. So down the line, in a way, she is our ancestor. And in a way, we should venerate her. Okay. As an Agungun, you have the chance and the ability to come back if you want to. All right. So imagine if she does want to get reincarnated. Imagine the ashe and the power that she had and the veneration that she had with the people that is giving her the power that she needs. She's just going to come back and just really change the world even more. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. If you feel the need and the pull to go ahead and venerate an ancestor like that, do so. What I would do is probably just make a separate section on your altar. Don't kind of mix it too much. Like you'll have your Agun here, your Agungun there, and then Harriet Tubman here. But then say for some reason you want to venerate Jimi Hendrix, you're gonna put they gonna be on the same side. You see what I'm saying? Okay.
And the second part, can you say how it, I mean, you kind of touched on it, how would it benefit them? I know you said it.
Yeah, it'll benefit them by giving them more power, more ashe. How the reason why we venerate ancestors anyway is so not only can we have them helped us in our lives, but it helps them like heal certain things that they have in their soul that they haven't healed yet. Okay, such as karmic and spiritual debt. We don't really know the ins and outs of each soul, each spirit, but you know, that's between them and that realm. So you venerating them could heal a certain amount of things that they do have going on in their soul's journey or their soul's purpose. So it's just giving them even more power as well. Almost like, you know, calling on the name Jesus. The reason why the power in the name of Jesus is so powerful because people believe in it and are calling on it and venerating him in certain ways is become so bigger and so massive. You could see that energy and that name changing people's lives as well. Okay. So it's just as powerful as venerating an ancestor like that. Okay. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, yeah, you did. Thank you so much. Got
You're
clarification.
Mm-hmm.
And what about the frequency? Because someone said you have to vibe on their frequency. If you're calling on, and I don't want to just say my ancestor, for example, the one I might select, what does that mean when you say, I mean, I can't be who she was, but I might be asking for her help to do something similar in a more modern form. You know what I mean? And I think that's all what we're all trying to do is help others heal and grow and become more united.
I don't think that you have to vibrate on their frequency per se. Because you're already on a different frequency because you're in different realms already. You're in different dimensions. You understand? So I wouldn't say that you have to vibe on the certain frequencies in order for you to have permission or authority to work with someone that you know that's a part of your bloodline. That's frequency in itself. That's your blood. That doesn't get any more powerful than that. Okay. The only thing it is a line of communication. And the line of communication between you and that ancestor is veneration. Okay. You can't come to anybody empty-handed. Okay. So you come venerate them, create that portal. All right. Open that portal up, then they'll be able to speak with you and, you know, coexist with you there. All right. I don't think that we're on different frequencies anyway. Yeah. Just like in dimensions, you're a different frequency, but the blood is the blood. You can't help that. Blood is blood, is bone. And that's a part of you. You already have access and authority. Okay. All right. Kendall got the questions tonight.
You know I'm a talker. Stop.
I already know. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and go forward with the lesson. Let's see. Okay. So let's talk about Egungun versus deity veneration. Okay, I touched on it a little bit earlier. Now, it's a must that we always venerate our Egungun and Egungun before appeasing any Orisha, before appeasing any deity. Our first line of defense, protection, and help comes from our Egungun and our Egun, okay? You cannot venerate any deity at the same altar or space as your Egungun. That's a no-no. Don't put Oya or Oshun next to Mama. No, we don't do that, okay? If you're authorized, you will have to have a totally different space to venerate and to work with these deities, okay? And authorized is the key word. Sometimes, you know, you're not really allowed to work with these deities as of yet because you probably need to be initiated or just really learn how to correctly venerate them through someone that's initiated or through some type of class from an initiate, okay? Now, it's best to be familiar with working with these energies before you work with them, okay? You have to be. Sometimes these deities and orishas, they call out your name. That's one way you know that they're calling on you and can work with you. Usually these times that you do hear them speaking your name, it's because some way down the line, you know, one of your ancestors has worked with them, okay? So they know of your bloodline, okay? Now, many energies could cause havoc in your home or life if you don't know how to work with them properly or have the authorization, okay? You don't want to make a connection with any energy you don't know how to repay or keep satisfied, okay? That's a no-no, all right? So in the mentorship, you guys will learn how to work with certain energies, especially the 7 African powers. I will teach you guys how to venerate them correctly, what to do and what not to do. And if certain things happen, wreak havoc, or certain things go crazy in your house, then I know how to assess that. Okay. But until then, till now, I really don't really want you guys doing that. I really want you guys to really be comfortable with venerating your Egungun and your Egun. I want you guys to be able to have a powerful connection. All right. Now, some of you guys know I do ancestral readings. Okay. With those ancestral readings, I can really tap into your Egungun, and I can really see what time that they want to be talked to and venerated. Okay. Your ancestors will set a certain time where they're here for you and ready. Okay. Because sometimes they could be busy because they have lives out there in a different realm where they have to do certain things. So they'll let me know what times they want to talk with you, or what times they want you to pray and meditate with them. They also will give you guys like a special bath that they want you to do, where they will come up with the ingredients themselves, where you have to take this bath every week. Okay. They will also let you know what they want on their altar, what they don't want on their altar, and they will also let you know the things that they want you to perfect and strive for in your spiritual life. Okay. So if you guys are interested in that, and that's even more in a bigger firepower, you guys make sure you guys check that reading out with me on my website. Okay. But I really want you guys to be more comfortable with working with your ancestors. I want that line of communication to be powerful, that portal to be powerful, especially with the beginning of this mentorship when it deals with a lot of healing, okay? Because you're not only healing those things that are within you, you're healing your DNA. So a lot of things that you're struggling with, you're struggling because your ancestors have struggled with it before, okay? So a lot of the times when you're doing this healing work, you're also healing your bloodline. Okay, you're shifting your DNA so the future generations don't have to repeat those things of the former. Okay, so it's very, very, very vital. All right, I want you guys to start getting more creative with your offerings and really tap in. Really tap in. At least speak to your ancestors once a day. If you're not venerating them every day, at least pray to them once a day. Okay. All right. You're the only male in here, but I don't see your name. All right, my love. So that is the whole lesson of the ancestor altar. Okay. Since you guys are in the mentorship, I do want to see pictures of it. If you haven't set it up the way that I've explained here, or if you had ideas and changed it up, I would like to see that, so I could see, you know, that you guys are very much enthused with working with your ancestors, because it's very, very vital. Okay. And Ifa tradition in Isheshe, you have to appease your bloodline before appeasing any Orisha. It's a must. Okay. Because your ancestors do get jealous. Oh, she love Oshun more than me. Oh, she loves Shango more than me. I ain't finna do nothing for them then. Don't come to me when this pop off. Forget you. Okay. We have to make sure that we're in complete alignment with the things that our ancestors want and need. Okay. Any questions?
When you're working with your Orishas, is it recommended to start with one at a time, or is it dependent on what your needs are? Do you ask permission to work with that Orisha?
Yeah, I want to really work with any Orishas unless you get a reading. Unless you get a reading. Even if they're calling out on you, I will still clarify it with a reading. That'll be one way to test the spirits. because there's trickster spirits as well. So you want to make sure it's the correct spirit that is calling on you. And then with that, they'll tell you why they're here, what they want, the reason why they're here. A lot of the Orishas are just with us only for that time being, because there's certain things in our life that we need to correct. And those things that could help, they could apply that to our lives because we lack that. And then after that's done, they will leave. Then you have the ancestors that has been walking with you since birth. Okay. And those ancestors are really, those Orishas will really come out when you at least get your first hand of Ifa, your first true initiation. But you could get a reading. You could also get your Aleke ceremony. They'll come out in your Aleke ceremony where you'll have prayer beads with their energy embodied into the Elekes, okay? Where you could work with them directly as well too. And you could give them offering, venerate them there because they showed up in that. It's almost like a first ceremony before you have your first hand of Ifa, okay? So with that as well, you have authority to work with them with the Aleke ceremony as well. So yeah, I wouldn't just go out there and just work with something that I'm not sure with yet. Yeah. Okay.
So wait, what if you've done your research on them and you might need one for a specific thing? Because I just want to be clear, because maybe I've been misled, or I just want to confirm what I was taught, that you can call on them, say like if you're trying to win a court case or something, someone said maybe Shango is the one you can venerate for something like that.
See,
Or if
that's the thing. That's the thing about research.
Sean, for love or something like that. So can you clarify?
No, see, that's why you have to. That's the thing about Google. They could put out anything out there and say this is what it is because of whatever misconceptions they have or their own opinion. But unless you speak to an initiate and have a reading by an initiate or sit down with a babalao, you really don't know. There's things and traditions. There's a chain of command and a way of respect that you work with these energies. You don't just blatantly work with them just because you want to. Just like that girl that worked with Papa Legua because she felt like she wanted to. And what happened to her? Exactly. You can't just work with anybody because, oh, I need this done. And then you can't work with Shango for a court case because that's not what Baba Shango resides over. That he don't do that. That's Ochosi. And then if you work with Ochosi, is Ochosi Ogun's mama or is Ochosi a man in the force? Which one is he? Which diaspora? So it's too many things. You need to know levels of these Orishas because they don't even have one energy. Baba Obatala has 43 energies. You understand? So you have to know the ins and outs and which one you're exactly dealing with or need to deal with, which one wants to work with you or which one you should work for certain things. And that comes out in a reading. Understand? Okay. You can't bypass it, baby. You gotta sit on the mat or get her. You gotta talk to initiate. That's just how it goes. What's this in the ancestor reading or what you mean, China? I kind of don't understand what you're saying. Yeah, that's right, for Young Glory. They're not always going to answer you. The gates won't always open. Okay, you want to make sure that they're willing and ready for you. You're gonna be like, who's that? I don't know who that is. Like Shango was the first Orisha that I known of because when I ever started dealing with this, he's the first one that showed up. And then come to find out, and a Gungun priestess told me that Shango's on both sides of my family. So that's why he's always been here with me. Okay, so it's just ways to this madness, so to speak. But you gotta do it the correct way, the right way, because if not, you could regret it.
Okay, about our ancestors, right? You said like sometimes we want to call on our ancestors for our highest good. But how do we know which ancestors to put on there? Like people you knew and you want to put them on your altar, but
Mhm.
you don't know if, I mean, like, I know this person love me and care about me, but I don't know if this person is elevated enough to go on my altar for me.
See, that's a good question. Okay, because sometimes we want to go ahead and venerate, Uncle Johnny. Okay, he was cool and everything, but you don't know his secrets that he had. So that's why I would say that a thing that you could do for people like that in your family will be an elevation ritual, something that you could do to elevate his energy and his spirit in a higher realm, so he won't be stuck in purgatory, which some spirits are, because they don't want to deal with the fact that they're gone and they're dead. They're so attached to this 3D, they don't want to let go, they get stuck there. So you want to elevate them through this certain ritual. Okay. This is why I say pictures are needed. In hoodoo, we use a lot of pictures. Okay. In Ifa, we don't use pictures. Some people naturally have a shrine or altar with pictures of dead family members without knowing that that's really low key an altar. That's why I say it's not necessary. You could just call on them. My Agun, those who vibrate the highest level of love and compassion. I'll call on you today for this. And then say what you want to say. Okay. If you know that grandma was so powerful, she was the priestess of your family, a praying priestess, you'll want her stuff on there, because that's who you was close to. Even in this realm, she was powerful for you. She's gonna be even more powerful in that realm. So someone like that, you can add a picture if you want to. If not, like I said, since most of us are working with a small space, you could put my mom's ring or bracelet or something like that on there. Okay. But you just gotta make sure you come to the altar saying those things. Don't come saying to my ancestors, those known and unknown. You opening up the floodgates for the wrong ones. Okay, that's not the way to do
That's what I
it.
be saying. I be saying it too.
Nah, bro. Nah.
Okay, so when you say put their stuff, like when my sister passed away, I got like her makeup brushes and stuff like that. Like I could put that like on her altar, on my altar for her.
Yeah. You could take one of the brushes and put that right there. That's her energy. She has an ashe on there, most definitely. You can make it cute. You're a Taurus, you know how to make things look pretty. You could have like a little flat glass thing and then have those stuff like set on there real cute, like, and this is those ancestors sitting right there. Okay.
Yeah. What about their obituaries? You can put them on there?
Yeah, you can put that on there too.
Some of them too. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Priestess,
Yes.
can you clarify loved ones and eguns, the difference?
Your dearly departed loved ones are your egun. That's just how you say it in Ifa. Okay, so like I told you, egun means bone. So that's bone to bone, blood of blood. So those are your dearly departed, the ones that just died probably within last year to like 20, 30 years ago. Okay, those are your egun. Probably even 100 years ago, those are still your dearly departed, because you would probably still hear stories of them. But your gungun, those are the ancient ones. Those are like the ones from Kemet. Those are your ancient ancestors way back then. Okay, the ancestors of your ancestors.
And how do you dispose of offerings?
Okay, so the offerings that you give your ancestors, you can take it to the railroad. You could take it to a crossroad, or you could take it to a four-way crossroad. You could take it to a railroad that just goes, one way, two ways, or whatever. You take it there because you're taking it to Eshu. All right. So Eshu is the one that brings your prayers, delivers your prayers. All right. So you could drop it off there and ask Eshu that he delivers your prayers and just leave it there. Okay. If you ain't got time for that and you can't, you could just easily just throw it away. All right. Sometimes we don't have time in our practice where we can't do that. So most definitely. But don't eat it. Don't drink it. Okay.
How do we know if our offering was accepted?
Divination. Divination. Or when you go back to them tomorrow and it's molded black.
They don't want that.
They don't want that. Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, ma'am. But we always divine. Okay. One thing with your ancestor altar too, you guys could put your tarot cards on there. Okay. I know I said you could put a bowl of water on there. For those of you guys who know how to scry with water, you could also put your pendulums on there and your tarot cards on there. You could put like one set of tarot cards on there, and that will be what you use to specifically speak between you and your agungun, or you and your agun. Okay. Anything
If
else?
we haven't used tarot cards before to divine, how do we know the message? How do we know if we're right?
One would be your intuition, and you ask them, ancestors, please show me if you accept this. Please speak to me, show me a sign. Talk to me in my dreams. Let me know. Give me a sign, please. They're going to give you what you asked for. Closed mouths don't get fed.
Right. What happens if we don't pick up to them speaking to us?
If you don't pick up to them speaking to you, it's gonna be to where like someone like me is gonna tell you what they say.
Oh, the times,
Yeah.
yes.
They would use people in your life to let you know what's going on.
And those times are accurate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. If you get an ancestral insight reading from me, they will pick the times of the portals where they will be open and ready to speak to you back and forth. Okay. So what's this? I be wishing that the ancestors could come in my dreams and speak to me. Is there a spell I could do to ask them if they can't come and talk to me in my dreams? There's no really spell that's needed. You are your ancestors. Just ask. Make sure you venerate them first. Okay, you have to have an exchange of energy. That's very vital. That's the way the universe works, is mathematics. You have an exchange of energy, then you ask them for what you want. Okay. Any other question, Priestess?
So what happened if we ask the ancestor something that we want, but their message to us is pretty brash and blunt, and they pop up out of the blue, and we're scared? Do we call you? Like, what is it?
If your ancestors show up saying hello, I can't say don't be scared, because some people will get scared. I'm gonna tell you like this. Your ancestors know if you're a scary cat or not. Okay. So they're not gonna be like, you wake up and they right here in your face, hi. Like, they ain't gonna be doing no stuff like that. Okay. They're gonna find a way to be gentle with you. Okay. Now, if you feel like they're not, it's because they feel like you could take it. But why would you be scared of your ancestors? Why?
I don't know.
But
I
I was
kind of
about
feel
to
that.
say.
I bought my ancestors.
Go ahead.
I bought my ancestors a bell 2 days ago. I was telling Shakana, I told them if they ring this, it's over. I gotta throw the bell away.
And if they do, they do. Like, okay, I'm gonna tell you, because it's a sign they want something. If they ring your bell and you bought them that bell and they want to play with that bell, let them ring that bell.
If I'm glad to hear that bell ring, I'll probably lose my mind.
Let them ring that bell. Because I'm gonna tell you like this: ancestors get excited. They get real excited when you start venerating them. They get happy. You know what I'm saying? Like, wouldn't you be happy if you was in the other realm? Like, oh, I'm being recognized. Oh, I got this. Oh, I got that. Oh, I needed that. I was working on that. They need some things from this realm in order to fix and correct things in the other realm. This is why it's very vital, very important. Okay, a lot of our ancestors are stuck in certain dimensions because nobody's remembering them. Nobody's caring for them. Nobody's helping them with their spiritual or karmic debt. They're just there. Okay, and they need that. And that's why a lot of things are being repeated in certain bloodlines, like characteristics and certain habits and certain ways, or certain poverty, mindset, or even physicality. This is why these things are being repeated, because our ancestors aren't being venerated. Yeah, they need more than a Facebook post. That's right. That is right. I said they're scared. They say my name when I jump up. They call me too, girl. They call me too by my government name. And I'll be like, what?
They knocking
And
me.
I'll be like, what? Yeah, they call, and they like to be active at night. I don't know why they like to be at night, but they do. Like one time I done venerated everybody because I was lazy one week and everybody got everything. The Orishas, the Agungu, everybody. I'm laying in the bed and 3 of my Agun jump on me. Why y'all jumping on me? I'm trying to go to sleep. Yeah, they're like touching on me. Like when I do the ancestral readings, they will, like, your guys' ancestors will literally come and touch my face. They will touch my shoulders to let me know they're there. So it's just whatever you take. I don't freak out because I'm used to it. Sometimes I can see them, sometimes I don't. They just know what you could take, but don't be scared because that's your ancestors. It's not like we're opening a portal to a demon. And even then, if you have power, you know who you are, you know how to tame that demon. But that's a whole nother lesson. Okay? Know what you're working with. That's why you can't just open the portal to any ancestors. That's why you call out. They have something called afushe with your mouth. There's life and death in the power of the tongue. You have power in your mouth. So what you call out is what you bring forth. So whatever you say is coming. So if you say, my gungun who vibrate at the highest level in love and compassion, hear me, please come. That's who's coming. But if you say ancestors, those known and unknown, then everybody finna come. And we all know we have low level ancestors and high level ancestors. You know that. But then once you start getting used to the energies, you know how to get rid of those ancestors as well. Okay. Like, nah, I don't want you in my house. You get out. You're not allowed to come here. All right. You could rearrange and shift the energy how you please, how you want to.
Okay.
Okay.
So when they show up, how your ancestors show up as people? I told you sometimes I be feeling stuff around me sometimes, especially if at nighttime. I feel like somebody just come in my room and just be standing there like your mama used to for no reason. Like that's how I feel like. And then sometimes I be seeing a shadow. And do they show up like that too?
When they're like a dark figure, like a shadow figure?
Yeah, it just,
Yeah.
I know I saw something.
Yeah. Yeah, because
is them the elevated ones?
the elevated ones be light. Those are just the dead ones.
I ain't seen the light.
Those are just the dead ones. But we already had a talk about your bloodline though. That's why you need to get that reading from me. We already talked about your people and what's going on with, so it's a lot of work that needs to be done. It's going to be happening through you. That's why it's important for you to call the correct ancestors and get rid of the ones that shouldn't be welcome in your home. Okay? Because what's deep about that sometimes is when you have little kids, those type of energies or those type of ancestors could influence your children. So you have to be protective in that way as well. Okay? Your face changed when I said that. All right. Let me see what these questions here. My ancestors will speak through me or her because she's scared to see them. Yeah. Yeah, all you gotta do is ask them and they're gonna come to you.
I have a question. Do your ancestors sometimes give you like a scent? Because there'll be times where I'll be minding my business and I'll smell like a sweet perfume smell, or like I'll smell like something foreign, but I don't know what it is. But I know that I've smelt it as a kid. Whatever it is, I know that they're trying to communicate with me and tell me, hey, this is what I would like.
Yep.
I also have another question. There's just one ancestor I have. I do not know her name. I just know that she's related to me, and I don't know her name, but I know that she was a slave in the South and that she wants to work with me to help me with my entrepreneur and financial situation.
Mhm.
But it's hard because I know she wants to work with me, but how am I going to work with her if I don't know her name?
She'll tell you your name. Ask her. You feel the
Oh,
energy. You feel the energy, right?
but she be in
Ask
my room. She will watch me sleep and make sure I'm safe.
and be like, "Who? What's your name? What's your name? Can you tell me your name, please, so I know how to speak with you correctly, so I can show you the respect you deserve. Can I have your name?"
Thank you. I'm gonna ask her that tonight because I
Yeah,
need to
ask
know.
her and let me know if she tell you tonight.
I will. Thank you.
You're welcome. For Young and Lori, you could tell about what happened to you the other day when you was walking in the street, walking the baby, the dog.
So you mentioned scents, and I was walking my dog, and I'm like, "What is that smell?" I was with one of my friends, and he was like, "I don't smell anything." I'm like, "No, it's like sweet. It's really sweet." And so I look across the street, I see a bush with flowers. I'm like, they don't want me to go over there to get no flowers from a bush. But I'm walking. I see a bush again with the flowers, but I had to stop because it got so strong and it was white flowers. I grabbed the flowers and the smell was gone. They sending me a message saying, "Oh, you need to get the flowers because I want it on the altar for me." Because my ancestors are so needy, require so much. and and I think it's because Priestess here, she always tells me what they need. They have like all the times. I've never seen so many people who need all these times for me to come talk to them. But
Oh,
they
you're not
do.
complaining low key. I know you're not out here complaining low key. No, high key.
I'm saying
I asked you to tell her what happened yesterday, not your issue with your goon.
they need a lot. But you know, I'm spoiling them. And the more I spoil them, the more they'll knock me down. Like there was a day, well, because it was a week, I wasn't serious. I wasn't putting food on the altar. And they said, "Okay, bet." I hit my car. Like I couldn't get my hair done. Went to the hair shop. They said, "Oh, you can't get your hair done." Backing up, man, hit my car. And I'm like, "What do y'all want?" And so, you know, I had to cook. And so now it's a daily thing for me to cook. Yes, for my egoons and the Orisha's because I don't want to get whooped no more. I'm tired. And I was going to Priestess. I'm texting her. It's a new story every day of what's happening to me because I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do.
And they telling me that she hard-headed. She hard-headed.
She gonna ask me a question she knows. She said, "Did you do this?" I'm like, anyway, who told you that? So they go tell her. They go tell her. But I've been good. I've been dedicated. The more I do, the more blessings I receive. So, you know, once you get that connection, it's all fun. It's all fun. It's all fun. They do play with me a lot. They do scare my dog. My dog be barking. So yeah. It's there. They there.
Thank you, Priestess.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any other questions? Come on, y'all. It's time to ask questions now.
Question. A lucky ceremony. When is that?
The lucky ceremony is April the 30th here in Dallas. So if you guys don't feel like you want to get initiated in Ifa, but you know that you want to work with the Orishas, that's definitely a ceremony to go ahead and do. Okay. we'll do a reading, and it'll come out who's walking with you at the time. Then I'll make and consecrate the beads. It's gonna be a powerful ceremony that lasts all day, and I can't really give too much of the details, but it really, really is life changing. It's very, very powerful. The last one that I did, some people they fell out like in a crazy way. Like it's very, very powerful. So if you guys, want to have a closer relationship with certain orishas and have authorization, authority to work with them, then this is a good ceremony, especially if you don't want to get fully initiated or the hand of Ifa, or you're not ready for that yet. Okay, this is what you do first prior to those things. But yeah, I have a couple y'all coming, so you guys have time. The ceremony is going to be for 2 days. You have lodging and all that stuff, but you guys will have to get here to Dallas. You guys have 2 months to save up if you want to, but my price is hella cheap. I charge like 1/3 of what a lot of these other priestesses are charging. So it's almost like a steal, because when I do this ceremony, I'm going to be wore out, and it's a lot of cleansing and clearing I'm going to have to do to myself afterwards with the type of work I'm gonna have to do. So yeah, I hope you guys consider that, especially if you want to start working with the orishas. Okay. Is it Sharon or Sharon? I don't want to say it wrong.
Sharon.
Sharon. Okay.
All of the above.
Okay. I don't want to say it wrong.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
My sister passed in August, and when she was starting, well, she was at the end of the crossover process, because it was, well, anyway, I was actually doing my altar work that night, and I heard her whisper my name, and she pronounced my name the way I pronounce it now, which is Sharon. And she said it twice, and I was home by myself, and I was like, I must be tripping. So I kept praying and doing some stuff at my altar, and then she yelled my name, my childhood name, and said Sharon. And I jumped up, and I called my husband, and I said, look, I'm about to go to Tina's house. And he said, something's wrong. I say, she called me, but she didn't physically call me. She like calling me in the spirit. So when I pulled up to her house, she was sitting outside, and the first thing she said, she asked me was, who called you? Like she was calling me in her mind, but knew she hadn't picked up the phone to call me. So I was like confused, like, was she calling me? Oh, because a lot of time my grandmother would send me to go do stuff, but I distinctly heard my sister's voice. And when I got to the house, she passed within like 45 minutes.
That was her higher self. That was her higher self talking to you.
Yeah.
Because she was alone, right? Yeah, she needed you there with her.
Just like she was by herself. Everybody was in the house, and she had been sitting outside for 3 days, and they didn't even call and tell anybody that she had been like sitting outside 3 days and wouldn't come in the house.
Wow.
But my sister knows that I'm the baby. Whenever they don't do what I want them to do, I'm going to tell my mama. And her and my mama was like best friends, and my mama lived right around the corner. Well, when I told my sister, I said, well, I want to bring you home and get you cleaned up and take you to the hospital. And she said, well, I'm not going to the hospital. I say, well, okay. And I walked off, and she said, where are you going? I said, I'm about to go get your mama. And I brought my mama back. And after my mama made it there, it was like 15 minutes. And she was like, okay, y'all can go ahead and call the ambulance. after she didn't want to leave with the ambulance. And then when they got there, she wouldn't stand up and walk for us, but she walked for them and got on the gurney and told my mama, like, I love you. And she looked at me and she said, and I have always loved you. Just make sure you take care of my mama. And I said, well, we'll meet you at the hospital. She said, take care of my mama. And like, the ambulance may have been gone 5 minutes and she went into cardiac arrest.
Yeah,
And
she knew. Yeah. So when you heard that, that was her higher self. Her higher self was calling you. Yeah, we're just the avatars here. The higher self knows everything. That's the one that's out
right.
there. So she already knew what was happening. So she went to go get you because she knew she wasn't going to physically pick up the phone herself.
Right.
Right. Yeah,
Thank
but
you.
just make sure that you're venerating her so she's elevated. She's up there. That's how many months? That's about 7 months, 8 months ago. Yeah, it's still fresh. Okay, just make sure you're still working with her. She with you.
Why do they say don't venerate someone that died violently? If they love you and it was you had nothing to do with their cause of death.
What you be reading?
People tell me that too.
I didn't pay for some courses throughout the last year.
I swear I learned that too.
And I'm trying to back up what I done spent to learn. Was I given the right information? You already said I had some agents in my life. So I'm realizing this is why I'm comparing what I was taught and paid for to what you're giving from the honesty of your heart to make sure that these people was really here to distract me, or are you really here to put me on the right path? You feel me?
Okay. So they told you not to contact anybody that died violently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was the reason for that?
Because unexpected death, and if they died tragically, they probably are stuck between realms and probably pretty angry, or don't even realize that they're dead.
Okay. Oh, this is my thing as a priestess. Okay. For someone that died violently, yes, those things can be true. Okay. I wouldn't necessarily try to contact them because there's nothing that they could do for you. Okay. The only thing that they could do is be where they are because they probably are in between realms. But what is needed is for you to elevate them in the realm that they need to be in. Okay. If no one in there, like, even if it's a friend, you could do this for them. Okay. You could do this elevation ritual that's going to help their spirit go to the dimensions they need to go in, so they could either decide if they're going to come back or stay where they are. Okay. I believe that everything is divine. So if someone died violently and tragically, that was meant for them to happen. That's my belief. Everything is divine because you never know what happened to them in a previous lifetime that was karma for them to die that way. Okay. 2, you never know if anybody did some type of work on them that was also karma for them to die that way. Because if it was meant for them to live, if it wasn't their time, God would have saved them. Miracles happen all the time. And if that person has a calling on their life, then they have stuff to do, just not finish it. God's not going to let that happen. So to me, I think everything happens in divine timing, period. But in that case particular, there's no need to call upon that spirit. There's no need to try to contact that spirit. It is your responsibility when you're able to and have the knowledge to do, have the power to do it, is to elevate their spirit. And that's it. So that's my take on that. Okay. You got a question, Uzziah?
Yeah, I was just listen. That was like kind of the same question I had that she said, like, cause like back in March, like somebody put some of my sister's drink and she passed away. And when I had went and talked to somebody about it, and I was like, dang, can I put her on my altar? You know, because that was my dog. Like, we really, you know what I'm saying? That was my protector. Everywhere I went, that was my dog. And they was like, nah, because the way she died, that wasn't, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't a good way, like the way that she left here. And she may not be happy with that. But, and then when I went to her house, I was standing there keeping her kids until everybody got, you know, everything arranged. Like, I hear her cry. And I was laying down on the couch upstairs. She always had heavy feet, and I kept hearing her stomp and stuff. And I was like, yeah, maybe it's not a good idea to.
Yeah, you need to do an elevation ritual. You need to do an elevation ritual.
Question, how we do that?
I'm gonna have to teach y'all how to do that. I'm gonna teach y'all how to do that. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff I can teach y'all. But yeah, I'm just gonna teach y'all how to do that now that I'm seeing that it's needed. Because like I said, you don't have to put every ancestor, every family member that passed on your altar. Okay. You know when you can and when you need to. All right. You gotta trust your intuition. But things like that was violent, you have to elevate them. You have to elevate them. That's first things first. Okay. But things like Miss Sharon, like her with her sister, she could put her on the altar because she didn't really die violently, but she knew she was elevated enough, when her spirit was elevated enough, she knew how to wrap things up and to end it the way she needed to. Okay. So she can do things to venerate her sister, to give her what she needs to help her and her spiritual karma and her spiritual debt. Okay. Anybody else? Some people in here quiet. What's up, Cynthia? You unmuted yourself.
Yeah. Good night, guys. I have a question. And speaking about like spiritual debt and karmic debt, like some people, they say like you could put money on an altar, or you could put spices and things of that nature. Is those good ideas? Or
you could definitely put money on the altar. Sometimes the ancestors want money. Things as far as spices, I never heard of that. Just the spices on the food that you give them. But I never heard anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah, oh, maybe I read it somewhere, because they were saying something like the older spirits, the older, I guess, Gungun, or the older ones, they used to, payments were done in spices and other things besides money. So I think that's where they was going with.
Definitely, like certain like fresh herbs. Yeah, the Agungun definitely likes that. Yeah, definitely your Agungun. Your Agun probably not the dearly departed, but yeah, there's certain things that your Agungun may require, especially the ancient ones, especially if they was herbalists. You know, a lot of our Agungun were herbalists. So yeah, if they're asking for a patch of whatever, what type of leaves, they want, then go ahead and put that on there, most definitely.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm still building mine, and I've changed it up a bit, but
okay.
Oh, when I post my picture, you'll see.
Yeah. Okay, Mama. Nice to talk to you.
Same here.
Yeah.
Great class, by the way. I learned a lot.
Yeah, I'm glad. Thank you. Okay, anybody else?
Yeah, I mean, when you are doing ancestor offerings, how often should you pay them the ancestor money? And secondly, does it make a difference if you use a cauldron or not?
I don't use a cauldron, but I use, those little aluminum basins like you put turkeys in, but the smaller ones, I use that. So what I do is I let my ancestors guide my hand. Yeah, like that. I let them guide my hand and I just grab it, touch whatever, I grab it, and that's what they want, amount they want. Yesterday I did that and they wanted some more and they pushed some like off the pile. So I just took that too. So I just use intuitively. Like I said, you're going to take with your left hand, you burn it with your right, and you watch the fire go all the way down. You can write their names on there if you like to. for each bloodline, each family member, or you could just speak the names. What I do is I speak the last names of all my bloodlines. So I would say the Velarde family, the Smith family, the Mosley family. And then certain people like my baby, my Ibiku, who died early, I would say her name, stuff like that. If a friend of mine died recently, I would say their name as well, just to help them elevate a little bit more. But I would keep the ashes in that same bin. And what I do is every either 6 months to a year, I take those ashes and I go out to my tree and I put it at the root of my tree, at the base of my tree. Okay. But it's no amount. You just trust your intuition. It's no amount. Mm-hmm. Okay. Don't be burning real money out here too, y'all. Some people I know just be balling out of control, be burning like 20s and stuff like that. Like they got it like that. They was like,
You don't have
oh,
to say
you
that.
be
You don't have to say
ancestor.
that. You don't have to say
Why you
that.
telling on yourself? I didn't even say anything.
Test the money now, y'all.
Okay. Yeah, any amount will do. Just make sure that you're calling out on them as you're burning it, okay? iPhone, the only man that's in here. Do you have a question, sir? I want to know who that is because you didn't put your name on there. iPhone. Hello. The only man that's in here. So he said in the chat. He probably just got me on play, not even listening to me. I'm good. You don't have a question? Let me hear your voice. Or is it too loud where you at? It's loud. Okay. Are you the one with the twins that was in my mentorship? No. Okay. I don't know who you are. You're new? What's your name? Hi, Terrence. You're not my brother, are you? Okay, just making sure. Okay, hi, Terrence. I'm glad you're here. Okay, babies.
Wait, how can we send love out offerings?
Oh, if you guys want to send love offerings, you can. I think I put it in the chat already, all the way up top. Let me see if I can find it. There it goes. I have put it for if you guys wanted me to make a sheet to put in your grimoire, you can, but there goes my Cash App and my PayPal. And it's 1010 for the one sheet. So you guys let me know if you guys want that too. So if you want to make an offering and it's for one sheet, then you just go ahead and do that and I'll just get it ready and I'll just send it out to y'all, okay? Y'all just make sure that you put your email in there so I know who to send it to, okay? Because it's kind of hard trying to find out who's who, all right? Okay, thank you. Please do, Terrence. I really love to get to know you, okay? So did you guys learn anything new today? Yes. Okay. Well, I'm
Absolutely.
I just want I sent my cash out when we first got on the phone. I sent more than 1010, but I only want one sheet.
Okay.
All right.
It'll probably be, I don't know, it might be two because I typed
but I'm saying I only want one set of notes. The rest
okay.
That was yeah. I only want one set of notes.
All right. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome.
Okay, my babies. All right. Yeah, I'm glad you guys learned something new. And if you guys just have any questions as you're going in and rearranging and fixing up your altar, just let me know in the comments, in the chat. Okay, just drop it in the main chat. Probably your sisters and your brothers will be able to answer you too if I can't get to it. Or Priestess Jeremy Lori or Priestess Leia. Okay, my babies. All right. I thank y'all for coming. I love y'all. Y'all have a good night. Okay. Bye.
No carbon copy. Ain't even like that. Just trying to match my swag. 'Cause I'm so